Well, I mean, we can start there because that's a good point to start off with your new equipment. My friend had one, and so he got a laptop, punched it, and then, then told them that he didn't know what happened and that there was and he punched it in like some gambling rage. And this is when we were underage and he wasn't even meant to, like legally he couldn't even bet, but he was using his parents' account. And so he lost and then punched the screen. So not only did he lose the money, but then he was looking at having to pay to get the thing fixed. But then he told them that it just happened and like just one day it was like that. And then he said that they knew that he was lying, but they told him, well, we'll do it this once, but if it happens again. I had another friend who had a drone and he started to get like really cocky with it. And then he decided to try to fly it under a table in a park and then smashed it and then tried to take it back. And they were like, nah, we know that you've overridden, like you've selected some features on there to override the avoidance because they got built-in things to not hit stuff. So he turned all that off and they're like, well, you had to have done this. And yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I used to work in a retail store. I sold kind of everything and people would like almost everything. Like it was, in the UK you have Argos.
Yeah.
It's like a catalog store and they literally sell stuff for your kitchen to couches to all kinds of stuff. But people would bring back like toasters and be like, I never used it, but it doesn't work. It's like, well, why is there toast crumbs in it then? Like, why is there? And other things like intimate shavers will be returned with hairs. But they're like, we're not taking that back, dude.
This dildo does not work and has never worked. Well, why is there chisel over it?
Like, have you replaced the batteries? I don't know.
Or the company makes the employees sniff it to see if it has been used. So there is a distinct foul smell on this dildo.
It wouldn't surprise me. We had this thankfully we had this 28-day no haggle returns policy, but there were certain things that were excluded, and those are the ones that I would get called in for. It's like, can you tell this person? Well, no.
We had a family friend. So in America, they had 7-year warranties on linen and bed sheets and stuff. So we had a family friend who it was 7 years for bed sheets. They took it back after 6 years and said they didn't like it. And because the store had a no thingy policy, they were just like, too bad. Wow. And the company, no questions asked. And the thing
crazy.
Is, I mean, if you've got people that are ballsy enough to do it, you just do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got the fucking organizational skills to remember in 6 years' time to bring something back, I mean, you kind of deserve it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to just have around the house all these receipts and different items, and have a checked off thing of this is 3 years, that's 5 years, we're taking all of this back.
Yeah, I mean, I keep receipts for everything. But if you ask me, if something, if my TV broke, I couldn't tell you where the receipt is. I'd probably never find it. But I know it's here somewhere. It's in a box somewhere.
Well, I mean, the good stuff with some of those things now is at least you get it emailed, so you don't have to worry about. Well, I don't know about there, but here, you can get it emailed.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, following up from last week, we need to apologize to someone because I'll let you guess what person we have to apologize to from last week.
Is it the birthday party dude?
No.
No. Bertha?
No.
Oh, geez. I don't know, man. I can't even.
Well, technically, it's not one of the people that we spoke about, but we basically one of the stories we covered about the oldest Easter egg was wrong because another woman has come out and said that actually she has the oldest Easter egg and hers is 73 years. And apparently she actually wrote into one of the newspapers in the UK about this to complain because they'd covered the other woman. And she's like, no, actually mine is older.
I thought you were going to say she wrote into her page. It was like, fuck you guys.
No. She was too excited to be covered. She was like,
no, obviously.
The idea that
Well,
old Easter eggs were being covered made her day on our podcast, because that's her. Obviously, she's an avid listener, like everyone is.
Sure.
She likes and subscribes and comments and all that.
But yeah,
she got upset because, so the other woman's was 62 years old, and this woman's is
73.
Yeah. So this woman's is 73 years old. She was gifted the egg 73 years ago by her brother, and it has since survived 3 house moves without so much as a crack. And this woman isn't even paying £80 a month to have it stored.
See, this is the more sensible person. But I still, I mean, in 73 years, why? That was my question last week. I think, like, why would you keep an Easter egg that long?
Well, she hasn't paid the £80, so hers is all disfigured and the sugar's not good and whatever. But yeah, I mean, who doesn't do this? I
mean, I don't ever foresee myself owning an Easter egg for 60 or 70 years. So good on those.
The article makes a very amazing point when you think about it. The moon landing happened after the woman decided to keep this Easter egg. This Easter egg predates moon travel.
Yep.
And she found it was too nice to eat, so she preserved it. Even though she was only 7 at the time.
I feel like that is just like a ridiculous decision. And also, what 7-year-old is like, nah, I don't want to eat the chocolate? Like, that's weird.
Well, she goes into a lot of detail. She says she thinks that it was bought from Dalston and Hackney from a little tobacconist by the station.
Okay.
And her brother stored it for a few years, then gave it back to her. And it's just been sitting in the cupboard in its original box. So, yeah, I mean, life-changing stuff, really.
Again, I feel like their family members are like, fuck, some people have like original Beatles records that are worth thousands and we get a fucking Easter egg worth nothing.
I mean, surely there's more important stuff in her life to... Here's the first sexy lingerie I ever bought. Here's the... I don't know. Here's the tracksuit pants I shit myself in when I was running one day.
I mean, most people don't keep them, but that's, each their own.
Yeah, I mean, it's slightly better than...
Slightly.
But
imagine reading a news story like that and being like, fuck those people. I have an older egg, fuckers. So...
Yeah, but I mean, who even knows if it is accurate either? Like, this woman could have got it like 3 years ago. I mean, I'm sure a 3-year-old Easter egg looks like shit as well. So if you're just some old if you're over the age of 90 and you have an Easter egg that is more than 5 years old, because there's no way anyone's going to be able to tell how old it is, write into your local newspaper. This is for all our 90-plus-year-old fans, of which there are hundreds of them.
Absolutely.
And yeah, write in and you'll be in the paper. And you get outraged at how they are covering these bums instead of you. And ask to fight them. Say you want to fight. You've seen how much Logan Paul earns for a fight, and you want some of that money, and you want to fight over who has the oldest Easter egg in a boxing match.
For sure. I think it could happen.
You want to be on the undercard for the next Logan Paul whoever fight.
I think that's reasonable. It's reasonable for sure.
I feel like they would do it too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the next story we have is resellers at Tokyo Disney Resort have had to use fake babies. So why do you reckon they would have had to use fake babies? They're pushing around prams with fake babies.
This is resellers?
Yeah. So resellers at Tokyo Disney.
Is it to hide whatever they're selling? um, in
No.
the baby place. I don't know.
So there's limits on what you can buy.
Okay.
And you can make good money off reselling the merchandise at Tokyo Disney. So
Okay.
people are taking prams with dolls in them to the stores there to buy multiple items under the babies.
Okay.
Because
So-
whatever you buy there, you can get 3.7 times the amount of the cost.
Well, that's a quite a markup. So yeah, I can see why they're doing it. But yeah, I mean, if everyone's coming in with fake babies, that's got to be like a signal. People are going to pick it up and be like, "Get out of my fucking shop." I guess.
Imagine they had to wake the baby and make sure that the baby is a person. So the store clerk has to poke your baby before they're counted. It's a new Tokyo Disney baby poking law.
It's like all the questions. When was the baby born? Do you have proof? Is it your baby? Is it someone else's baby? What's going on? That is bizarre. I mean, all the best stories come out of Japan at times, but
sorta, yeah.
That's just bizarre.
I mean, I wanted to go, but it's locked down. Oh, well, it's not locked down, but you can't go as a tourist at the moment.
Yeah. Me too. I'd love to go, but we'll just have to wait. But when we do go, we're going to have to get a pram and a fake baby.
Yeah. So doing it.
So why don't they just go to the place, buy the stuff they want, leave, come back? They're technically a new customer at that point. Buy whatever they want.
You probably can only go in and out and whatever.
All right. Well, they could bring disguises for themselves, make themselves look like different people, and just go back around and go in again. I feel like there's another way of going about this than
Possibly.
an actual fake baby. So
have a real baby, have a baby, wait the 9 months, bring it in.
Yeah, there you go. That's one option.
This is the plan. You have a baby, you go there, boom.
Babe, we need to have a baby. Why? Because I want to go shopping in Disney.
I can make 3.7 times the cost of the merchandise. This t-shirt is $50. I can sell it for whatever that is, 300 and I don't even know. I can't be able to do the math, but I could do it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So next story, a resident received a passive-aggressive note from their neighbor who slammed his balls.
So what now?
So he received a savage complaint from a resident regarding his balls.
Okay.
A resident thought they'd add a bit of humor to their door and so hung up a door knocker of a man with a toned torso and some rather large testicles. So basically the guy had a doorbell thingy with large testicles. Hung in all its glory, the X-rated piece is quite difficult to miss and quickly caught the attention of an annoying local.
That's the person's name, annoying local?
Yeah. So the letter said, to management, I'm writing to you to make a formal complaint about the door knocker affixed to the door on apartment with the number. As you know, the school bus waits across the street every morning at 8:30 a.m. and children are exposed to the knocker's genitalia. Also, there are many Mormon young men on missions who live in this complex who do not need to be exposed to such filth. I've attached a picture from when the individual was not home to show you the clear violation. Please evict this person immediately.
Oh, immediately. All right. I feel like he didn't have consent to take that picture of those testicles, so he shouldn't be allowed to show pictures to people. I also think it's hilarious that it's pissing someone off.
Yeah.
There's this what do you call it? This door knocker. I mean, of all the things to be upset about in the world. But
imagine getting evicted over that.
I mean, worst case scenario, they're going to be like, dude, can you just like put a skirt on it or something? They're not going to ask them to move or to leave, I'm sure. But I mean, maybe they did already. I don't know. But it feels like they're going to get the letter. They're going to look at the picture and they're going to laugh their own balls off. So that's what I feel is an appropriate response to that.
Yeah, it's a ballsy move.
It is a ballsy move.
Well,
but like, you know, the best part is like the Mormon people coming to knock on the door. I'm just imagining them waiting. Just like if they're like, should we knock? Should we use the knocker? Should we knock? Just like the torments that will cause them, I think is funny. But
I mean, also like most people don't want the Mormon people knocking on their door. So actually stopping them from doing it, I mean, yeah.
I mean, you're missing out on entertainment if you don't, because you can mess with some people who knock on your door for religious purposes.
By having a ballsy door knocker.
Just questioning everything in their life. Be like, hey, I saw this documentary about your religion and just make up random facts. It's hilarious. It's really good. So anyway, yeah, I think that was pretty cool. Like if I ever live in an apartment again, that's the first thing I'm going to do. Put some balls as a door knocker.
All right. Everyone heard it here first. So
yeah,
if you're going around Ireland and you see a house with that, you'll know who lives there.
Consequently, I've been asked to leave my home because of the door knocker on it. I think you knew about that story, damn it.
Huh?
I just said I didn't think you knew about that story, me getting kicked out because of the door knocker.
I thought you actually did for a second there. I was like, what?
No.
Mine was a giant vagina that you had to push the inside of, and you had to work it up to actually ring the doorbell.
The doorbell was a clit, but no one could find it.
Yeah. That's mine. That's my doorbell. Well, in terms of irony, this woman, so crime novelist Nancy Brophy penned a gripping essay titled How to Murder Your Husband. Now she's in the dock accused of doing exactly that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically the plot of Basic Instinct. So, you know, it was bound to happen. I think it's happened several times. And also, if you murder your husband, don't write an essay entitled How to Murder Your Husband.
Don't cover anything at all to do with murdering your husband.
Yeah, don't write a murder mystery, write a comedy.
Yeah. I feel like the basics of committing crimes is don't talk about that specific crime. Like it's just really very basic. Like you don't go around like just making jokes about that specific crime.
Yeah, it seems like they're thinking like, what did you do today? I just killed a fella. Oh wait, not that. No, never mind. Like just don't mention it to anybody. Don't write it down. Don't put it in your diary. Today was the day I killed that guy. Tomorrow book launch. It's not like your best option.
It reminds me of the Jimmy Savile documentary where they're like talking about him with kids, and then they're like, there's just hundreds of clips of him joking about it, like specifically that. And it's like, how do you have that many clips where and some of them aren't even like, it's not even like it's coming off as a joke. It'd just be like him like, yeah, I was just with a 17-year-old today. And you'd be like, okay, why did you say that out of context? And like, we weren't talking about that at all. Like it'd be one thing if someone else was talking about like children, but he would just be like, yeah, was with the children today, and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, looking back, it's kind of ridiculous that nobody like did anything about it, because the Sex Pistols were banned from the BBC for saying specifically stuff about Jimmy Savile, saying that he was up to this kind of stuff with kids. So like people knew, I kind of watched his interviews, but they never did anything about it. So
yeah. I mean, it's just ironic that insane that he would just be out there specifically talking about it. It'd be one thing if he said nothing ever, and then which would be the smarter move. But when you're like so brazen about it and just being like, yeah, I'm killing how to kill my husband, and yeah, here is my husband.
The thing about in the essay, was the husband murdered in the same way as somebody was murdered in the story that she wrote, or was it like just a different thing to throw people off the scent? It's like, yeah, I killed him, but I didn't kill him the way I wrote it. I wrote it differently. So there's probably no details in the story, but
well, actually specifically that. So it goes into details of, as a romantic suspense writer, I spend a lot of time thinking about murder and consequently about police procedure. After all, if the murder is supposed to set me free, I don't want to spend time in jail. Which, again, very odd thing to say. Even if you're going to write a thing about whatever, like to specifically talk about, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to become a drug dealer and I'm going to specifically sell it on this corner at this time. She talks about there'd be blood everywhere and would take too long and the hitman would need blackmail. As for guns, she wrote, loud, messy, require some skill. If it takes 10 shots for the sucker to die, either you have terrible aim or he's on drugs. And then, of course, the guy was shot.
All right. Well, I'm just saying there are easier ways to not let everyone know you've murdered someone. Like, just don't write it in an essay or a book or a newspaper column. That seems like, don't make a podcast. What I would do if I was to kill somebody and then go kill them.
So Dave,
that seems like
your next crime, how are you going to commit it?
Well,
hypothetically, if there was a guy named Dave in Ireland who was going to kill someone, let's go specifically the guy who lives next door. In 2 weeks' time, if you were going to hypothetically kill that guy.
That guy.
Imagine the guy actually did, by a complete happenstance, get murdered, and then you're like, oh shit.
Like, James, we need to take down that podcast.
I'll be posting a clip of my co-host. Think of the views we would get. Actually, that's the perfect way to get views. So if you could just murder your neighbor in 2 weeks' time, then we can replay this clip. Then think of how big this podcast would be.
Feel like we should flip a coin over who kills their neighbor, you or me. So
no. 50-50. The specifics were that you killed the neighbor, not me. So sorry, but
I mean, that's specifically what you said. I think I'm trying to change it up so that there's a 50-50 chance. Yeah.
I was just rehashing our conversation pre-podcast about.
Yeah, no. What I would do is not tell anyone about it. That's for sure. I wouldn't publicize it. We'd be like, this is what I would do. So yeah, I just have to read the newspapers on how the guy died next week. But no, I like my neighbors probably. But yeah, that's a weird story. I think people should keep their crimes to themselves. Particularly the big ones.
Another thing people should really keep to themselves is this absolutely disgusting new sport. Can you take a guess what it is?
Disgusting new sport. So no, I've no idea because I don't know. All that's coming to my mind, I don't know why, is that the wife carrying that we mentioned last week or a week before. So I don't, but that's
not too far off that.
So, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Not exactly that, but it involves, and this is just disgusting and should be banned. It involves hot women slapping each other's asses in a booty slapping contest.
That doesn't sound too bad, but well,
I personally want to go there and protest and make sure that I get the best seat to make sure that no one else has to see it.
I mean, I feel like if we did a protest at that event, we would have to go to it and be very close to the action. Yeah,
and pay for VIP and go backstage and interview them.
Interviews and things. That's where is this at? This is happening somewhere in America, is it?
No.
Oh,
no,
wow.
There's only one place something like this would happen, and that is Russia.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Russia's a bit, yeah, some weird things happen there. All right, for sure. That's where all the slapping contests, most of them take place in Russia.
So this is like the next,
like hanging off table.
Next stage of that.
booty slapping.
They've
Nice.
also been doing like these wild MMA fights of like people that are like massive people versus very small people, 2-on-1s, and yeah. They're pushing the boundaries of weird sports.
It's like wrestling if it was real. It's like you just do whatever. Just like literally kill a guy and the next week he's on the show looking fine. It's all good.
Well, I mean, apparently according to this, it's quite painful and yeah.
Oh, that, yeah. Well, the Russian stuff, I think it sounds like it would be. Like watching those videos, those dudes like absolutely slapping the hell out of each other.
They knock each other out with the slaps. It's not like...
Oh, yeah. There's no light hands in that. That's crazy. Looks like good fun.
Yeah.
Just want to go first and like be really good. Like, you, man. But,
I mean, there's a massive advantage to go first, you would think.
Yeah, you think so.
All right. Well, football fans have lost their minds over a fan who has turned 6 pairs of boots into what?
A football.
Yeah. Yes.
I think I saw that during the week. I have no idea why. I think I saw like it was like, I don't know, some project he was doing. Was it a college thing or something? I have no idea. But,
well, the insanity of it is that like boots normally cost like 5 times the cost of a ball. So
yeah,
and then you got 6 of them. So you would be just way better to just buy a ball.
Yeah. So I don't know how much football boots are these days, but I'm guessing that football is the most expensive football in the world now.
Probably.
Except for like maybe the World Cup football or something would be more expensive. But I mean, you're probably looking at $100, $150 for a pair of boots at best. So I have no idea actually the costs, but it does seem like it would be super expensive compared to just buying a football.
And pointless. Just why?
And pointless. Yeah, that's a good. Also, he would have probably like dissected a football to get the bladder from the inside of the ball to use, unless he like bought that from a wholesaler. But whatever. One way or another, a football has died to make another football here, I think, and it's stupid. So I did see that video though, where he was making a ball out of cutting up boots. I was like, that seems ridiculous.
Yeah. So, it leads into the next story of, I mean, the level of stupidity and just why would anyone do that? It makes me welcome the aliens. And there's a story that NASA plans to beam Earth's location into outer space, which could spark an alien invasion. So
like they're just sending out a come and get a signal?
Yeah. The beacon in the galaxy message will broadcast information about the solar system, Earth's surface, and humanity to the Milky Way.
Right. Well, I feel like this is the start of the sci-fi movie where they're like, this is a great idea. We'll send out our message to the stars. And then we're getting blown up by fucking alien lasers in like a week's time.
Well, it's also like ironic that like NASA's always like the ones shutting down the idea that there's any aliens wherever and that there's never been alien landings and these people are wacky with their UFO stuff. And then they're actively out here shooting into space the signal to give messages to aliens.
Yeah, I mean, like if you deep dive into the, I suppose it's a conspiracy theory and like the whole alien life thing. But if you deep dive into that, it's like some of the common beliefs are things like we're being drip fed information to eventually slowly reveal things, and then eventually they're going to be like, oh, we have found life, and it's going to start off with like we found microbes of fucking whatever somewhere on Mars, say, or out in the fucking.
Well, I mean, that's the point of this podcast, to help drip feed that information, and we are shills for NASA who have been told.
Shills for NASA. Wait, has that check cleared yet? Because we shouldn't be unless they paid us. So
no, I thought they were paying you, and you were going to pay me.
No, I'm not paying.
Well, you just front me the money and then we'll be all good. 500 grand an episode, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as we're not talking dollars or euros or pounds.
Dong, Vietnam dong.
Yeah, sounds good. But yeah, I think it's a stupid move being like, hey, look at us, we're fucking here, when we are so technologically behind any alien race that could find us and come and see us, because what they're going to do is eat us. So let's not like tell the predators, hey,
we're
we're here.
Supposed to be telling that to people.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Whisper.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it sounds weird. And at the same time, they're sending out this signal out to the fucking stars or whatever. And sometimes you can't even get a radio signal out in the countryside. So
yeah, I know. Like your phone drops out in the middle of a city, and yet NASA's out here sending space signals
off. Yeah. Bullshit.
It's all part of the conspiracy.
Yeah. You know.
They're hacking my phone to listen into my NASA talks.
We're going to be on some blacklist or something now.
Because the Earth is flat, obviously.
Well, it's a triangle, to be honest. But all right. So
I don't accept that. It's flat and demand an apology from you.
Sorry, you're not getting one. So.
Well, that was a sorry. So there we go. Well, following up on another story from last week, it turns out that phone sex isn't as glamorous as it looks.
What?
Which to me seems like a baffling headline of, I don't know what you're talking about as to how this would be glamorous, but yes, one of the other people in the Babe Station documentary has come out to say that it's not as glamorous as people would feel it is. And apparently they're not sitting around wearing risque lingerie.
I mean, they're on TV, so people can see them.
Well, she's saying that she would be doing her housework and whatever on phone sex lines.
Oh, okay. Well,
in tracksuit pants.
Yeah. Well, so she she was probably one then who wasn't on the TV. He wasn't like cleared to be on TV. So,
well, so they would be on, it says when we were on set, but not on camera, we would be in our unglamorous joggers or PJs. But obviously we'd be telling them we were wearing suspenders or skirts, but usually we would be scoffing cake in my joggers. Yeah.
Well, you know, I kind of feel like if you're not on camera, like you're not being seen, it doesn't matter. It's the illusion. Like you're selling, it's like, you know, you'd probably expect that. I mean, I don't know. But they shouldn't be leaking industry secrets.
Yeah.
This person's going to have a serious
I'm going to sue for fraud.
False advertising.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be in sexy
fraud.
lingerie.
It's not just false advertising, it's fraud. They knowingly lied to me. I mean, it's 100% fraud.
He wasn't enjoying it. What's going on?
It's 100% fraud, though. They're literally lying.
I mean, yeah. And in one aspect, in another, I think it's just also like you need to expect that if you're just talking to someone, like if they're at work, they're unlikely to be like wearing sexy clothes.
But
I don't wear my sexy clothes
they
to work.
Yeah. Yeah, but are you getting on the phone and telling people you're wearing sexy lingerie?
Look, what I do in my day-to-day activities, I can't bring up. But yeah, all the time.
I speak to all accounting calls and make sure that they know that I'm wearing sexy lingerie while I balance their books. It's an important part of my service.
Yeah. Welcome to the all hands meeting. Check out my outfit. Like it.
This is Bob's lawyers, and all our lawyers are in sexy lingerie.
See, that'd get a lot of business, Eric. And, you know, all these fuckers in their stuffed suits. You don't trust them. You know, get some in lingerie, you're getting my business. So,
I mean, think of how much it would stick out. I mean, It's a marketing tactic.
In more ways than one. Yeah, there'd be a lot of sticking out going on. So, yeah, for sure. I think it's I mean, is there a code? Is there somewhere written down where if you're in work, you have to wear boring clothes? I don't think so. So,
I mean, I think a lot of places do have dress codes, but
I work from home. So first thing Monday morning, lingerie's going on. Again.
So if your neighbor gets murdered while you're wearing lingerie.
Listen, stop giving away the whole thing. The cops got to do some investigations, all right?
The lingerie murderer.
Oh yeah. Sounds nice.
Well, this is major insult to injury, this story.
Okay.
This woman who was struggling for money bought her nephew, whose family were well off and the parents are doing well. She bought him a lottery ticket. And of course he won. So then she asked for the money back. And of course, then all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
She said it was life-changing money, but she can't say exactly how much. Because the winners are on public record, so you'd be able to figure out who it was. Yeah. So this kid, she asked for the money, and the kid hung up on her when she asked for it. And then she texted him and he blocked her.
Good.
But she says that she needs the money. And it's a matter of eating or not eating, and he doesn't. And she asks, am I the asshole for thinking he should share the winnings of the gift I gave him?
Yeah, 100%. So if you give a gift, if that gift was to cost him money, you're not going to be like, hey, I'll give you some of the money to pay whatever cost it is. So you shouldn't expect some of the winnings from whatever. I don't think that's
I think
the way
a small amount.
Go.
I mean, I don't think you should expect, but I feel like the kid should.
I don't think she should expect life-changing money back. Like, he has won the prize. He was given the ticket.
Well, it depends how much he got. Because if he got 50 million, then I reckon he owes her $1 million at least.
In that case, you can give $1 million and it doesn't affect you. Yeah, it's fine. If it's 100,000,
I think still 10 grand.
Throwing a couple of grand's not going to kill you, but also I think that's more for the person who has won the money to decide, rather than the person who gave it and be like I mean, yeah, some people are just dicks and that's how they are. So you can't assume they're going to do what you and I would do. But
wear sexy lingerie, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that would be doing a podcast and not wearing sexy lingerie underneath. So
I know. They're just not committed to the sexy lingerie podcasting outfits. But yeah. Like if it was me, I would absolutely feel let's say it was $1 million. You won $1 million. You'd be like, dude, I'm going to buy you a car because you bought me $1 million. I won $1 million, right? Well, there you go. There's a car. But if it was something like 10,000, I'd be like, hey, you want to come out for dinner? Because, that 10 grand probably not going to stretch too far. But get you a nice present or something. I think that's the way to go with it. But I don't think you should have expectations.
If it was me, I'd prefer to rub it in her face and just buy obnoxious shit and just be like, yeah, I don't need this, but sucks to be poor.
I'd be like, come over for dinner to my fancy ass house.
Let's call Babe Station. Let's discuss their lingerie. Let's just throw some money away on.
Yeah. And then be like, here's like some shit I bought this week. Here's like, this costs 10 grand. You can buy them for like 500 euros, but I spent 10 grand on this one because I'm rich now. And things like that. Like, just be like, I bought the most expensive MacBook you could buy because, all the extra memory and everything, because I can now, and all that sort of crap. And just Be like, look at all my nice stuff. But no, I think you should do something nice for someone if that was the case. But also, like, I wouldn't buy someone a lottery ticket and then expect if they won that they would do something, because people are generally not going to do that. So
I also think that you shouldn't be like, your first reaction if they win is give me some of it, or how much of this are you giving me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not the right way. Plus, I mean, I guess that they have figured this out, but like maybe somebody else gave them a ticket. Maybe they bought their own ticket. Maybe the ticket she gave got, like a free ticket. You win a free ticket, and then he wins the big one. Like, that's unlikely.
Or
but,
maybe she bought it, tracked the numbers, and was hoping he won in the way that then she could get the money.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a risk-free way for her to play the lottery and say that, well, I bought it for you, but also if it wins, it's mine.
Yeah, it's true. So this was what? This was his aunt?
Yeah.
Or someone? All right, well.
Aunt of the year, I say.
I feel like just play your own lottery tickets, and if they win, then buy them something. And if you can't afford to give them a present, I don't know, hook them up with one of your friends or something.
Yes.
For the whole Nuffy weekend.
Or do some. You can do things for free. Like, for instance, if your nephew likes to call Babe Station, instead of having him do that, you have him call you and pretend that you're at Babe Station, and then it's win-win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, on that note, the next story, a Wizz Air, everyone's favorite airline,
second favorite,
dumped a plane full of passengers 200 miles from their destination in the middle of the night and just left them there to fend for themselves. So Wizz Air was flying from London Gatwick, and were told to find their own way home from so they were dumped in Doncaster, and they were flying from Tel Aviv to London Gatwick. And so they were just dropped there in the middle of the night.
Okay. I don't see what's wrong with this. That's literally Ryanair's business model. It's like, we'll fly you close to the place you want to go, and then you're on your own.
Well, they were then told they were landing in Luton Airport, but then they just ended up flying them to Doncaster, not saying anything, and just leaving them there. And it says that there were no Wizz Air staff to be seen when they arrived. And it says they landed at 3:15 a.m. at Doncaster, but were supposed to land at 1 a.m. at Gatwick. And it says they literally dumped a full plane from Tel Aviv in Doncaster, Sheffield, instead of Gatwick, and told us to find our own way home. It's cold and there are no taxis anywhere. So it's not even like it's an airport where they're expecting people or whatever. It's just like, here you go. Here's a random place to land, and good luck.
A very small, like, regional airport or something. It would seem ridiculously implausible to do that. I mean, they have to have landing rights and clearances and all of that sort of shit. And like, how that sounds like really far from London, though. Like 200 miles, did you say?
Yeah.
Something.
So the Wizz Air said that they sincerely apologize for the inconvenience and disruption. Due to air traffic control and staff shortages and absences, it was unfortunately not possible for the flight to land at the airport as planned. We did all we could to help our customers get back to Gatwick. However, the UK Easter holidays and lack of available bus and train transfers made this extremely difficult.
Yeah, I mean, at 3:00 in the morning, a train or a bus is probably not going to be available.
At a random airport that's not expecting people to land. There's probably barely even open.
I've never even heard of that airport. So I'm presuming it's like a tiny fucking regional thing that has like 2 flights a week, kind of.
Yeah. Certainly not a lot of plane flights from Tel Aviv at 3 a.m.
No, it's not a major international airport like Gatwick. You know, they probably don't have a Burger King or a McDonald's or nothing like that. Even in it, they probably don't even have a duty free shop. So I don't know.
Well, there's
I know that.
there's a fantastic follow up. So an elderly woman in a wheelchair who was stranded and out of pocket when she discovered she'd been flown to the wrong country as she attempted to get through passport control. Joan Winter, 89, flew from Luton Airport, excited to attend the wedding of her grandson in Lubania, somewhere in Poland. But she and her daughter, Haley, 58, somehow managed to get on the wrong flight after being led to a Wizz airplane by a member of staff. It was only when they landed at their airport and got to passport control that it dawned on them and Border Force security that a mistake had been made.
How? The first thing that happens on the plane is they say, "Welcome to our flight today to wherever we're going." Like,
well, it's
every
even
pilot
wilder.
says that.
There were other family members going to the same wedding on the flight who all got the correct flight. And they realized halfway through the journey that the others were not sitting in their seats.
This is like a real life Home Alone 2. This is what happened in the Air
With
Force.
Like
they got mixed up.
Yeah.
My dad's on that flight. He's like, okay, on you go. You get at the airport. What? Where are we? What? So where did it say? Where did she get to?
They actually touched down in Poznan, Poland, around 680 miles from Lubania.
Well,
Lubania is in Slovenia, so completely different countries.
That's where they were. Yeah,
I mean, I would barely even know. Honestly, if you put me in Slovenia or Poland, I wouldn't know which was which. It's well into discussing it with the airport control. Imagine the discussion with the airport control and they're like, "Sir, what are you doing here?" "Yeah, I'm going to a wedding and whatever." And they're like, "Where the fuck is that?"
What is the purpose of your trip? I'm going here. What? Where's that? I never heard of it.
You fly to Ireland and you're like, "Yeah, I'm going to a wedding in London." And they're like, "Yeah, what the fuck?" You know, that's like not here.
Yeah, that's I just don't know. It's making me think, like, how could you do that? Because like they tell you it's this gate here. It's like gate 45 or gate 4B or whatever it is.
This is worse than that because they're in a wheelchair. They're like the airline people actually would have pushed them to basically the plane.
Yeah.
And also, what kind of shit family, like when you get on the plane, right? They go, the elderly people go on first. So they wheel the elderly people on first. So would you not be like, where the fuck is our grandmother? She was wheeled on, she should have been wheeled onto the plane first. Why are there empty seats where she's meant to be? And then halfway through the flight, you're like, "Oh, where is she?"
I think I know. I think what happened there was they got on the flight and someone went, "Don't say anything. They've put Bertha on the wrong plane. This is perfect." She's not allowed to come to the wedding either. Not allowed to the funeral last week. She's not allowed to the wedding this week. I think that must be what happened, because there's no way you would, as you say, miss them. But I wonder where the two flights, like on, you know, the way in the airport, the two gates side by side, and things like that. So they put them just by the wrong gate. And then, I mean, somebody spotted it. Somebody knew that person was getting on the wrong plane or got on a different plane and said nothing. And that's the hilarious part.
Someone was like pissing themselves laughing. Like, I cannot believe this is going to happen.
It's like, they're not going to the wedding. Yeah.
Well, they had to take a taxi to Warsaw, which cost £270. And then from there, they caught a last minute flight to Lubania, which cost them a whopping £700.
Wow. Nice. That's, I hope they got good service on that flight and that went to the right place. But
it'd be funny if they then got the one that landed in the wrong thing after that.
Or they're like, where'd their luggage go? Their luggage, I presume, went with the first flight. So they probably lost it. Oh, well.
Well, then of course they go and they say, well, we in a volatile Europe, we were boarded on a plane to Poland and no one knew where we were. We were close to the border with Ukraine. Imagine it landed in Ukraine and they're just like, here you go.
No flights out of this country anymore. Sorry.
You'll have to wheel yourself back. Sorry.
Yeah. Take it. Just take care of it. Although airports and people who get wheeled onto airplanes and stuff, it sometimes leads to funny situations. I was leaving LA at one point and we were in the airport. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. And this lady, like we were sitting really far back from the check-in desk or whatever, the gate desk where they checked the tickets. There was a big queue. And this woman just like sitting almost near us, stood up, stormed up to the desk, like started speaking to the lady, was like, I want someone to put me in a wheelchair and wheel me onto the plane because I don't want to walk onto the plane in this queue. So she walked all the way back to her seat, which was like right at the back of the room. And then some dude had to like come pick her up, get her to like sit in the wheelchair and then wheel her onto the plane in front of the queue. Like there was no reason for her. The lady was just like, fuck this. I'm not walking onto the plane. I'm not queuing up. Like, so
well, that's the trick. Like, I mean, this way you don't have to worry about putting stuff off the top and everything. You just feign a limp and be like, oh no, I sprained my knee yesterday.
It's like, where are you sitting? Just way down the back there. Just as far away as I could possibly be. That's where I'm sitting. And I just walked all that way and I'm going to walk all the way back. But I cannot walk the additional 10 feet onto the plane. Or whatever it is. But I thought that was like, it would be funny if somebody like that was then put onto the wrong plane.
Yeah. I mean, if it got the wrong person, it would be the end of the world to see that. Yeah.
It does sound like a comedy sketch or an episode of some sort of fucking like an SNL sketch
or something. A movie plot of we were supposed to go here and then we were there and then blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's another place you can mark off the world map of countries you've been to.
I mean, who's been to Libania? I mean,
yeah, like 6 people. So that's a positive. You got to look at the positives of these things, and that's it. You've got to go to a new country.
There's a population of 280,000.
Jesus.
So yeah, just some random Slovenian city.
Where were they going from? Where did this happen?
From London.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
English people.
I didn't say it, you did. But yeah, I mean, look, it's a funny one. I again, it does remind me though of the Home Alone 2, the mix up on the plane and everything. But yeah, it's a fun one, and
yeah,
I'm sure Wizz Airlines don't do this all the time, but it's a good reason to go on their flights just to see does it happen.
I'm sure the toilets are fantastic on Wizz Airlines.
Probably.
Do they have the slang there of whiz, taking a whiz? Here, that means, to take a piss. So like,
yeah. Piss Airlines. Take your best shot.
We may get you to the right place. We may not.
Yeah. Fly with us. Where to? We'll figure it out.
Hopefully where you want to go.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
You want to go to France? We can get you near France. No problem.
If you want to go to Paris, we have a great flight to Bordeaux.
That's genuinely what Aer Lingus do. Or not Aer Lingus, the other one, Ryanair. They're like, you could go to the south of France. We'll fly you to like the north of France. And you can drive. Yeah.
Well, you and I have been debating for years about this, and now a professor has come out and agreed with me and has proved you wrong. Well, if you want to take a guess at what?
It could be many a thing, but I'm going to dispute the validity of this straight off the bat. So let's see, what is it?
Of course you would be disagreeing with this. So yeah, basically a professor's come out and said, no, the Loch Ness Monster isn't just a whale penis. Now, I do want to highlight that you did disagree with this. So tell us why this professor is wrong.
Because I don't even know who this professor is. What's his background?
He's a UK professor.
Doesn't count. I feel like, no. I just don't trust his analysis. Has he been up close with the Loch Ness Monster? I don't think he has. So I think
he floated the idea himself on Twitter and got 100,000 likes in a tweet.
Okay.
And yeah, he said that back in the day, travelers/explorers would draw what they saw. This is where many sea monster stories come from, i.e. tentacled and alien-esque appendages emerging from the water, giving belief to something more sinister lurking beneath. However, in many cases, it was just whale dicks.
All right. So where does what's his actual idea about the Loch Ness Monster?
And then there was a nice follow-up tweet saying, whales often mate in groups. So while one male is busy with the female, the other male just pops his dick out of the water while swimming around waiting his turn. Everyone's got to have a bit of fun, right? So again, you did say that you agreed with this theory, so...
Agreed that it is whale dicks?
Yeah. That was the position you took.
What else could it be? I don't feel like this fella knows conclusively that it isn't. I think his tweets are bullshit and they need to be peer reviewed.
Well,
so
the thing is that this is like some legitimate expert supposedly on this type of field who just randomly comes out and goes, nah, that's whale dicks. And then now has had to walk back his...
No, I feel like if you're gonna be putting out scientific findings, you should probably not do it on Twitter, and you should also not do it while you've been drinking heavily on a 36-hour bender beforehand. I feel like is what has happened here.
You probably should just be like, Eiffel Tower. That is a dick. It's a monument to celebrate dicks. Especially if you're an expert in 17th century architecture. Like, it's probably not a good idea to just be like, you know what? That was designed in an homage to a giant penis.
Then just your next tweet is, and I can prove it, ... And then no more tweets. That's it. That's end of thread right there.
Well, he literally posted a photo of a whale dick sticking out of water and a poster of one of the old pictures of Loch Ness Monster to prove his point. So it would be like posting a picture of a penis that looks like the Eiffel Tower and then next to the Eiffel Tower and saying, there you go, proof.
I don't think you're allowed to post whale porn on Twitter. That's the other thing.
I think you can. You can get away with a lot on Twitter.
I mean,
Twitter is very liberal. So.
I suppose it is. Yeah, for now. But it is definitely... I look. It's a scientific theory. Again, who's this guy? What's his name?
Where are we? Michael Sweet. Very sweet theory.
All right, yeah, Michael. But I think what you need to do, Michael, is you back off the Twitter. And
I think he needs to spend a little bit more time having more detailed discussions with Babe Station.
Yeah. They will direct him to the right
penis.
They know more about penises, I think. Definitely.
I think it'd be fun to call one of those and just want to discuss whale penises.
I mean, the guy last week was talking about his cats, so why not? Yeah.
Imagine calling one that and just being like, I know we're supposed to talk sexy, but I just want to discuss with you. Loch Ness Monster is a whale penis. Discuss. Go.
What would be fun is if the girl on the end of the line was like, well, I'm a marine biologist in college, so yeah, I'm just studying marine biology.
I mean, that would be the kind of bullshit they go on with too.
Yeah, I'd be like, really? What kind of lingerie do marine biologists wear to work? Because these are the questions that need to be asked.
For research.
Scientific research. Yeah, obviously.
Well, talking of science, one of the biggest benefits I would say of flying cars would be the fact that you don't need roads.
Yeah.
But they are planning right now roads for flying cars.
Makes no sense.
So they want to build giant roads in the sky for flying cars.
How do you build a road in the sky?
I don't know. You put it up there. You make a big, massive road. And
I mean, look, it just takes me back to the Future 2. Is where it has to go, this conversation. And when they get to the future and there's the flying cars.
Which is technically the past now, right?
It's the past now, yeah. You know, it's a shame that we don't have all the stuff. But the flying cars, they do have like a highway
to rename. They should be forced to rename Back to the Future, Back to the Past, because all of it happens in the past. So there is no future.
I mean,
and it's a lie, and I want my money back. This is fraud.
I mean, you can buy a sticker for your DVD case. It's all good.
No. I want the money back for the VHS I bought in 1996.
Listen, if that's your biggest problem with the Back to the Future trilogy, which I love, by the way, but I mean, there are bigger issues.
We cannot move past the fact that it's wrong and it happened in the past.
I mean, we can look at all the issues, but you know.
And also, why would they have not covered that the Loch Ness Monster is a giant whale's penis?
I think that was going to be covered in Back to the Future 4, which never got produced, unfortunately. So it was actually the main theory, the main plot line of that movie.
Yeah, so, I'm going to write to Michael J. Fox and complain about his documentary that it's not up to my standards.
He's got bigger issues, so you know, he was in some terrible sitcoms after Back to the Future, so he's working on those. He's still working through the complaint letters.
Yeah, hopefully he gets back to me. We should actually write to them and just be like, your documentary is entirely
Dear
wrong.
Sirs.
No, you write it as if you just discovered this and you were watching TV and you stumbled across this documentary entitled Back to the Future and everything in it is wrong and it's fake news.
It is fake news. Yeah. It's like a very serious letter. Please correct all of these things.
Yeah.
Let me know your earliest convenience when it's repaired.
My children watched your documentary and were disgusted by the inaccuracies of this fake documentary.
Yeah, when I went back in time last week, that's not what happened. So
I got to play with the whale penis. I don't see that being covered once in your documentary. It's well, absolutely. A football team's merch skyrocketed after getting a new sponsor, which they got from Drunk Messaging, a company. So nice. What company do you think they drunk messaged?
Oh, Tinder.
No.
I'm guessing either a betting company or some kind of like maybe Babe Station. Who knows?
RedTube.
He was heading in that direction with the whole Babe Station thing.
Well, I didn't explain what RedTube is. So are you saying that you know and frequent such a disgusting site?
I've heard about it in protest groups.
I only know from reading this article.
Yeah, of course.
Washington Square FC, a amateur US football team, watched their merchandise fly off the shelves after deciding over a few drinks that they would ask porn website RedTube to become their main sponsor. I only bought a couple so that I could burn them in protest.
I mean, me too. Yeah, absolutely. You know, protest all the way.
They're in the Boston-based BSSL Division 2.
Nice. What was the team name?
Washington Square FC.
Washington Square FC. Gonna get some sales later. So, have they given us an affiliate link? They really should. Yeah, that's pretty. I'd be honest with you. It wouldn't have crossed my mind to reach out to them for sponsorship. For the podcast even. So I think we need to broaden our horizons and be like, get some porn companies on board for the
Hang
sponsorships.
on. We let's write a message now to dearest Red Tube. We are a podcast of the highest honor and would be grateful if thou would
That was a good word.
Would chuck us some cash.
Yes, please. Thank you. We like the cash. We will pimp your product.
We will
That's the proper.
pimp your product until our faces are red and other body parts too. Thanking you in advance.
P.S.
P.S.
Fuck Pornhub.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Fuck Pornhub. they're definitely signing on now. We got some sponsors coming. It's gonna be great.
I will refuse to visit their site more than once a day if you honor us with said sponsorship.
More than once a day per device.
Once a day per device. Per device.
Except on Sexy Thursdays.
Except on Sexy Thursdays. All right. I'm going to send it. I'm going to find where we can send that and we'll see if they get back.
Do you think they give out Oscars for podcasts? Because I think we just won one for that segment right there.
If we get an Oscar, we promise to mention you.
Yeah, we won't slap anyone at the ceremony. Just wait till after.
Nah, I can't make that promise.
All right, then. That's fine.
Yeah, so there we go. We'll follow up next week and see if we
Did you send it?
I've got to find where I'm going to send it to, so I'm not going to do that live. And of course, if I'm going to that website, I need an extra half an hour for research.
Yeah. 7 minutes. It's fine.
I mean, I'm obviously we're here. We've got to play it up. We've got to be theatrical. 15
just
seconds.
To your watch list. Click on your favorites. It's all good. It'll all be there.
Homepage. Well, so there's an article I found after the wife carrying that there's 8 of the world's weirdest sports. So the first one is called Bog Snorkeling.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with shoving your head down a toilet, unfortunately. Competitors.
You say unfortunately.
Yes. Well, competitors are submerged in a water-filled peat bog and must snorkel their way up and down in the shortest possible time using only the power of their legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happens in Wales. And people fly in from New Zealand or South Korea to compete.
They do.
It's going to be from Ireland and Australia next year. If they did the proper bog snorkeling, we would, but not for that bullshit. It's dishonest. It's fraud.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's probably worse than actually involving a toilet. But you know,
I'm going to go there, shove my head in the toilet at the event, and demand that they honor the true bog snorkeling.
I'm gonna stay away from you that day.
I find it offensive that they don't follow the rules. If you're gonna call it that, I mean, get a snorkeling thing on and shove your head down a toilet.
Yeah, you know, it's a thing. It's a thing that they could do also. Maybe like a side. I mean, there's all these film festivals that are like run alongside the actual Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
So you could have like a rival contest where you actually just have to shove your head in the toilet, but called something very similar.
It does remind me of a thing that my friend and I came up with of that to get into cons, there's like there's no barrier to submit. So you can submit whatever the hell you want to
and it's free. Like, yeah, it's free as well. You can, isn't it? You can, or it used to be free.
And so in theory, some film person has to watch everyone's movie. So our idea was you make a film, and literally the idea was called The Shit, and it was literally going to be a toilet for 45 minutes.
I remember you telling me about this, and it must have been 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
Just the idea of making some.
But that's it. Yes, somebody would have to watch it, and they would be like, they would think it's an opening shot, and they're going to be like, it's gonna move to something. There's an artistic base to this.
It'd be so good to have
45 minutes.
Go from it dips from black and then go, and you have the voiceover in a world where toilets are flushed. One person said no, and then it just holds on that. And then partway through, you move the camera a little bit just so it's like, oh, there's stuff happening.
I mean, this, as you said, this one person would have to watch this movie. Then again, imagine it got in, because I've seen some terrible things get into film festivals over the years. So it would be like, then they're trying to come out with this. This is a representation of how the human race is treating each other in the world. It's like, no, it's just a fucking 45-minute film of a shit in a toilet.
The underlying tones of the film changed. Best supporting actor is the person who's sitting next to the toilet.
What you want to do is start off in black and white and then just fade into color and then back to black and white, and like have a really good soundtrack on it as well. It's essential to have a good soundtrack to get into these festivals. That's important.
It's going to happen. Well, next sport, which is somewhat similar, is gravy wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah. Nice. So basically, World Gravy Wrestling Championships takes place every year in the village of Stacksteads in Lancashire. And contestants scrap in a gravy-filled kiddie pool, and winners are decided not on how their wrestling abilities, but also how creative and fancy their dress costume is.
Oh.
Next, we have camel jumping, which is literally people jumping over camels.
Okay.
Extreme ironing. People ironing from, people that skydive and iron, and
that's kind of weird, but all right.
Toilet racing. So competitors fashion themselves a kind of loo on wheels, which they then race down the streets of Coopersville, Michigan every year. The rules are simple. 2 people push while a third person inside pretends to do the same, and the contraption must have a toilet seat and a toilet roll dispenser in order to qualify for the race.
Okay. Why?
It'd be a little bit awkward if like the guy in the third person in the toilet is just sitting there taking a heavy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they have mud pit belly flop.
All right. Mud pit belly flop.
So they have the Redneck Games in southern Georgia, which has been running for 16 years, which has classics such as dumpster diving, hubcap hurling, armpit serenading, and the piece de resistance is mud pit belly flopping. And they get over 5,000 people.
Wow.
Attend mud pit belly flopping.
That's unbelievable. But there you go. These are all sports.
Yeah, well, the biggest splash wins.
Okay. Biggest splash. That makes sense. All right.
Might want to train for that next year.
Feel like we could win some of these, to be honest. So
the 3-person toilet thing, we could definitely.
Yeah, we gotta get a third member. So
yeah,
I think we can do that. So
well, maybe this next person could do it. A real estate agent was banned from OnlyFans. Ooh. Can you guess why this real estate agent got banned from OnlyFans?
I mean, the first thing coming to mind is that they were using their real estate properties, their clients' properties in their videos or whatever.
But then they wouldn't get banned from OnlyFans. They would only get in trouble.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so how do you get banned from OnlyFans? I didn't know that was such a thing.
Well, I mean, you could from doing more risque content, but
how did you get banned?
Which time?
This the third time.
The third time was because of the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah. Memories.
Yes.
Anyway. So what happened? How did they get banned?
She breached the terms of service with a saucy competition.
Oh.
So she got kicked off for fucking her fans. So basically she had a raffle where you got a chance to go on a date and sleep with her.
Okay.
Which is against the rules of the website where everyone who's on there specifically wants exactly that.
Okay. So if that's hypothetically, if I have an OnlyFans page and I offer my fans the opportunity to come out, meet me, sleep with me and have several babies, that's against the rules.
It is on OnlyFans, but speaking of which, as we discussed before the show, you wanted to announce you're going to do that on the podcast.
It's on all, yeah, absolutely. But
the first 35 people to message in
get a free subscription.
No, get to sleep with you.
I mean, we'll discuss it and see what happens. Probably not though. It's the internet. We can't give it away for free. It's like $10.
Okay, $10 raffle.
Yeah.
All 35 people that enter. What if the thing was that like you do it where you like, well, you get to sleep with me, but that's just sleeping, nothing more.
Yeah, it's sleeping. You get to sleep. I will also at some point sleep, or you can sleep in my like vicinity. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we need to do it quickly too because we're losing you to another job. Which, do you want to tell people what your new job is? Which is in this new story?
You tell them. It's I'm kind of shy about it.
I mean, it's understandable. So the website Uber Kinky is currently searching for the official dildo researcher or tester, to review its products. So, yep. They've posted the ad. Dave's already applied, got the job. So,
can never have enough pleasurable fun times in your life. And what makes me worry is that the story or the thing they told me that, sometimes they don't go right. Then you have to go to the hospital and explain whether they got stuck. You're like, I have a job testing these things out. It's just my job. It's not a weird thing. So, yeah, we all got to make money somehow, but maybe the sponsorship with the porn company comes through. I'll give up the job. Who knows?
Or we can mix both.
I mean, yeah, might need to buy a new house. So,
yeah. Well, how far do you travel to shop?
About 5 minutes in time. So about a couple of miles maybe.
So there's a woman who travels 450 kilometers or 10 hours every time she needs to go to the shops.
Where does she live? Like the
absolute
South Pole?
Middle of nowhere in Australia.
Oh yeah, well, Australia is huge, so yeah,
She actually has to go to a different state just to shop.
Right. I think she should move, is what I'm thinking.
Maybe just don't live that far.
Just move like 5 hours closer to the stores and places. They're nice places, nice little towns and everything. Although they're like, what if she went for that 10-hour trip and she got there and the place was closed?
Yeah. Or she gets back and forgets the milk or.
Yeah.
Shit. Back to go.
Remember the time we went into a pub and there was like literally no staff there? There was like just nobody around. We were like,
well, obviously they'd gone on their 450-kilometer drive to get supplies.
Yeah. Yeah. And just left the pub open, which was a thing. That was fun. But yeah, I mean, that sound like, as you say, like, imagine, I mean, first of all, that means like you must get to a point where you don't have stuff and you're like, oh fuck, I have to go to the shop. And it's like 9 o'clock at night and you're like,
whole weekend.
Yeah. You get 10 hours there and then 10 hours back. Fuck that, man. Just fucking move close to the, like, why are you living so far away? Surely the land must be super cheap or something. Or I don't know.
It'd have to be for some type of work. Like, there is no way.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, get a new job. That's just crazy. I feel like there's more you can do. But anyway, yeah, I go like it takes me 5 minutes. So probably got the opposite end. It's not quite the same. No, I could walk to the supermarket if I wasn't a lazy fucker. So,
or you could drive. You could drive around in circles for 10 hours to feel her pain and then shop.
I could.
I think that next week for your podcast, you should be doing that and report back. You should do a video essay for the podcast on what it's like to drive 10 hours.
No. I could do a visit to the supermarket and just live stream that, and then it would take no more than 10 minutes there and back, and to pick up what milk or whatever I wanted. So that lady with her 10 hours, and as you say, you're bound to get back and be like, oh no, I forgot something. So I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
I mean, it's no commitment. Just no commitment. Won't drive around in circles for 10 hours for the podcast. What's the point in doing it? I mean, how are we supposed to ask RedTube to sponsor us if you're not even committed enough to drive around in circles for 10 hours?
If Mr. Beast pledges $100,000 to the show, I'll do it.
Wasn't there a video? I can't remember if it was him or someone else where they drove around a roundabout until they had to stop. I'm pretty sure it was really dangerous because it's like you start to like trip out and whatever. And
yeah, that would be pretty messed up. Like you would struggle with that after a while, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Well, there was more Babe Station news. They seem to have just covered this documentary like crazy of anyone and everyone that they could speak to. So this one was some more weirdest calls. So there's one, she says he was a regular caller and he was always a bit strange, and he usually asked his particular thing of how long I could hold my breath for. But this time he rang up and he thought he had hung up on the phone, but he hadn't. What transpired was he'd taken a load of pills to try and end his life. Then he rang an ambulance and the paramedics arrived. My producer was trying to end the call, but there were technical issues. I was thinking, Jesus Christ, he didn't mean for me to hear it, but it was my most bizarre experience. I was thinking, why had he rang me before doing that? And potentially if I hadn't called the paramedic, I could have been the last person he spoke to. So this person, it almost seems like he called them to get them to call the paramedics.
Yeah. And imagine getting that call from the paramedics. Like, hey, this is This is the girl from Babe Station. Like, fuck off. This call is costing you £5 per minute. I just want to tell you about this guy who's like, he called into the show. He's a bit weird. You know, he likes to hold his breath or whatever, but now he's taking some pills. I'll tell you which pills in just a few minutes, because we're going to build up to that, because it's £5 a minute and we're all making good money here. Yeah, I feel like that would be the weirdest side of it. But yeah.
Yeah, there's another person who says that like famous people would call in and try to throw them off and would treat it as like their dating site.
Oh, on Babe Station. For some reason, I thought you meant the paramedics. I was like, what? Just really into paramedics.
Hello, ambulance. This is Jimmy Savile from the TV.
This is not Wayne Rooney, the footballer, but have you got any older ladies you could send out to my house? I'm having a heart attack. I feel like if you're gonna die, you may as well enjoy it. So if you're gonna call the emergency line, make it interesting. And you couldn't do it as a prank, but if you were genuinely in a thing where you're gonna die anyway. One girl says that someone offered to pay for a snuff film. Jesus, I mean,
he said, I asked him if he wanted me to do a pretend film, and he said no, he wanted a real one. And she says the snuff movie was a red flag.
I mean, yeah, it's a red flag.
Nah, I mean, come on, who doesn't want to film a real snuff film?
Everyone, but
what would be a red flag in that?
The murder part at the end, probably, that one. So
another girl says that at one point she had to be escorted to the train station because so many weirdos would wait for you outside the studio.
I mean, what do you expect? That's just, yeah.
Well, that's going to be creepy because it would be pretty easy to figure out where they film and.
Yeah. And then all the weirdos there. I mean, but I'm sure, but like in that scenario, if you're going to be walking to the train station, you're putting yourself at risk anyway. So what you need to do is like learn to drive and have a car to just run over people who get in your way.
Yeah.
That's just more sensible.
Well, this next story, pub owner said he's usually inundated with sloppy applications, so he put together an unusual list of requirements for his job advert. He said, don't just apply because the job center asked you to. Those that attend with that fruity BO odor, it's a no-go. Away, give your pits a wash before you come down for interview, a quick whiff and spray those bad boys. First impressions count. That includes brushing those tusks too. The key part for any interview is first impressions. Don't have mine as this person clearly needs a wash and have me turning my head because of that naughty breath that stings my cheeks. He also asked that applicants not to turn up to the interview after a session or a big night and stinking of that last can of lager you had at 5 a.m. If those gnashes are black, then stay back. White and you're all right. Especially when front of house greeting our customers as they walk through the doors. He also said he's against dodgy looking toes and that staff should get good at chatting to strangers. We want lively, bubbly, friendly people for front of house, not people who sit at home all day on the latest FIFA, not leaving the house for days on end. Go and get some fresh air and interact with real people. I don't care if you've led a team on Call of Duty or Dungeons and Dragons. What real work experience do you have? If not, we have positions we can train too. He says that they'll love the banter and that even vegans can apply as long as they don't mind serving big, juicy slabs of meat.
Can we take it back for a second? Why does he not like, or why is it in his job listing where you have to have good toes?
Yeah,
Like, what?
it's just completely random.
That's the one where he's over the line. Like everything, I'm like, all right, but like, how do you judge what a good toe is?
Feet on the table now. Imagine in mid-interview, you are perfect, but I need to see your feet. Now show me those toes.
Everything's going well. We really like you. We really like you. Put your feet on the table.
Your big toes oversized. Get the fuck out of my office.
Yeah. When did you last clip your nails? Do it now in front of us.
Look, can I keep a souvenir from this? I want these nail clippings. And let me have a whiff. Feet can stink. I need to know if yours do.
It sounds like this guy has had some pretty fucking bad applications. Like people coming in with like horrendously bad breaths, just stinky people.
It would be hilarious to just go in there deliberately the opposite and just to troll him. Like go in there unwashed, just messy everything. Fuck up your toes somehow. Just cut your toes nails in weird ways.
No, you got to go in with perfect toes, but everything else is off. And see, does that like
put the feet on the table and be like, else. Yeah, here we go. How about them bad boys? That's what you're looking for. Feel like I got the job. Did I get the job? I got the job. Well, he's no stranger to unusual Facebook posts, and in 2019, he posted an advert asking customers, would you punch your ex in the face for a steak?
All right, well.
Quite a promotion there, really. A great way to bring in people.
It sounds like some kind of sting operation to ask that question. Like it's like somebody's going to get found out and in lots of trouble for that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to apply for this job anymore. Even with my perfect toes. But, yeah, it's a fun one. That one. Would you punch your ex in the face for a steak? How good is the steak?
Yeah, I mean that's what really matters. Is it a good steak? Is it a cheap steak?
Yeah.
I'm plugging my camera in. Now you've been complaining about the airport in Dublin a fair bit lately.
Shithole, yeah.
And you sent in 12,272 noise complaints last year. As this story says, that one person managed to do that themselves.
So something like fucking 60 complaints a day or something.
34 a day.
34 a day. Yeah, get a life, man. Whoever that person is. If you live near the airport, you're gonna have to put up with some fucking noise.
Yeah, well, I mean, normally it's cheaper because of that, and
yeah,
it's kind of built in.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't understand. I did read that story. I was like, first of all, is that must have been all this person did for their job, for their day? Didn't have a job, obviously, because they spent all of their time making complaints about Dublin Airport, and not even valid complaints, because I mean there are valid complaints about Dublin Airport. It can be terrible, but there are times when complaints are just not necessary, and this is one of them. So
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna get dropped at the wrong airport by Wizz Air,
I mean I would complain about that. That's definitely an issue. You know, I feel like the airport being there is not a surprise to this person. They knew the airport was there. They knew that planes would fly to this airport. Yeah, I can only imagine they got duped by somebody. They were like, you can't hear the planes, no problem. Why did you ask us to come here like 3 o'clock in the morning to view the house? It's like, that's the best time. It's all good. And then when they moved in, they were like, wait a minute, there's fucking planes all day. So, what do they want? Like, what do they want? Like for their complaints? That's the other thing. Like, can you make the planes go quieter, please?
Yeah, I think that's the solution. We need quieter airports.
Yeah.
Not that people who buy houses next to airports need it to be quiet, but
you know, it's as you said, it's built into the price. That's why you're getting the house cheaper than someone 10 miles away who's not in the flight path.
Yeah, although it
or
would be really annoying if you live next to Doncaster Airport and at 3 a.m. Wizz Air flight just lands and you've got all these 200 people outside your house asking for a taxi.
See, you say annoying, I say opportunity. Yes, I'll take you to London. It's 400 euros per person or pounds over there per person to get to London. And they got no choice. They got to pay you. So, yeah, it's just, I mean, to be the kind of person who makes that many complaints about something, though, you have to be like an ultra Karen. So,
or a hero.
Next level.
Basically, Batman. Basically, the real life Batman.
I don't know.
Who would be out there fighting crime and stopping people like this. A man who handed officers meth instead of his registration at a traffic stop. So when they pulled this person over, Roy Porter in Bridgeport, West Virginia. It's alleged that the police were conducting a traffic stop on a vehicle for improper registration. And when the officers spoke with the driver, he handed the officers a packet that they thought was the registration of the vehicle. However, a small plastic bag fell out. Inside the bag were a couple pieces of crystal-like substance.
Nice.
So yeah, probably not the best idea to hand meth to police.
On the list of good ideas, it's
like
at
number
the
3.
Yeah.
Third or fourth best thing you can do.
So, yeah, I'll get you my registration. Just hold on to my meth here for a second. Wait a minute. Then you've got to be like, wait a minute, you didn't stop me for meth. You stopped me for my registration, so you can't do anything.
You can't use this.
Yeah.
Just like the book I wrote on how to kill my husband. That has nothing to do with it. Or the fact that Dave just keeps rambling on about how he's going to kill his neighbor. That is complete coincidence if his neighbor gets killed.
Nothing to do with that whatsoever. Yeah. It's all innocent good time.
If your neighbor got murdered and there's like whale penis pictures all over their house and it's like...
if that happens, I feel like I'm being set up by a certain person. I feel like that's too coincidental.
Dear fans, if you're out there, this is the perfect setup. This is how you can get away with murder for free.
Please don't do that.
Yeah. Yes, I think we have a responsibility to say no one should be murdering someone else.
No. Yeah, don't.
But if you're going to anyway,
I mean, don't do it. Go kill James's neighbor. That's fine. I don't want the hassle of like police out here and everything.
Yeah. Well, a man. Well, you flew to India recently.
Well, recently.
Well, on the 22nd in Jaipur.
Yeah, of course.
You were illegally carrying 791 grams of gold concealed in your rectum.
Yeah.
And you were looking suspicious from your manners, and therefore a personal search was carried out, and your yellowish granules packed in 3 translucent polythyrene capsules were found concealed inside the rectum. So 791 grams of 99.5% pure gold. Or as you tried to explain, and the reason why you're out of jail is because you explained that was your gold dildo and you just like to keep it in for flights to...
People have different interests and that's what they needed to understand. I had no idea that gold was illegal. Why is gold illegal? What's happening?
Well, if you're smuggling large amounts of it inside your anus,
that's a personal choice.
Who said I cannot?
Yeah, I don't see it written down in the rule book anywhere. There's no thing at the airport saying have you got liquids? Have you got sharp objects? Is there gold up your butt? There's none of that. It's like,
actually, it is, sir. It's written right here.
no. That's I've never seen that.
So it's worth about 80
minimum.
grand. And obviously there's a legal 10 grand usually amounts or whatever you can bring in. So if you need to smuggle in money, I guess. Money laundering. They don't really check though, do they? I mean, have you ever been stopped and asked like, how much money have you got with you? No, because I carry all my money in my ass in gold. So no, I've never.
Obviously, the smart thing to do, but
I've never stuffed up and brought cash. I only bring gold inserted into my anus.
Yeah, well, that's the smart thing to do. That's just what we should all do, I suppose.
Amateurs who bring cash.
Yeah, if you're going to bring more than 10,000 in particular, don't bring cash. That's the rules.
So you brought more than $10,000 in cash up your ass through airports?
I mean, no, I don't do that. But
hypothetically, a person,
yes,
brought more than that.
I presume. I mean, just for public record, I haven't smuggled anything recently
inside your ass.
Yeah, not recently.
In my pee hole.
Look, it's just you got to do what you got to do to get your cash in places. So that's all I'm saying. But yeah. I mean, how much gold is that? Did you say like 10?
Like 80 grand.
Grams? 80 grand. All right. I mean, yeah. I think there are probably other ways he could have gone about it, but also it seems a bit, all those smuggler shows and stuff that people airport shows, that it's always stuff stuck in your ass. That's the problem. But find some other way to get it in that's not going to make you walk weird.
I mean, the other part is like, wouldn't it be, I mean, there's one thing to shove something up your ass, but like 800 grams for a whole flight, it's starting to weigh a bit.
It's got, with airplane food as well. It's not going to work out well for you, buddy. It's not going to work out well for you.
Imagine you did that and you get through and then you get stuck in the toilet and you shit it out through the toilet.
It's not a good look. It's not a good look. I don't think they thought this one
probably
through.
Wouldn't be good either, but or the taste.
That gold is going to be devalued for sure. That's
increase in value with the right buyer.
No. I suppose if you were going to sell it through Babe Station, you probably make a few extra bucks.
Yeah, as long as he's wearing his sexy lingerie.
Yeah. See, all of these stories we talked about today could be a movie in some way or another. Some of them better movies, and some
especially
of them
the story
movies.
of us getting sponsored by RedTube. That's definitely movie worthy.
That's the big movie. That's the one that all the Hollywood people will be fighting for. So looking forward to it.
They will be. Well, on that note, I think until next week.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Cool. Well, thanks for having another cool episode.